Good evening, friends. Today we'll be discussing on women in local self-government and Panchayat Raj, unit number 7. Local self-government means the system of management of local affairs by the people of the locality or by the elected representatives. If we see across the country, my dear friends, we have a three-tier government at the national level, at the state level, state government, and at the regional level that we call it as a local self-government. It is the third tier of the government, my dear friends. These local self-government institutions serve as a training centers for democratic leaders, both whether it's at the state level or at the center level, as these are going to facilitate active participation of the people, of the local people in the administrative process, and their cooperation and their support is required for effective administrative processes. Because people are going to exhibit their issues, they are going to exhibit their ideas, they are going to help the government in designing the policies for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of all the sections of the society, my dear friends. So here, local self-government is of two types. We can classify the local self-government, the third tier of government, into two types, my dear friends. One is rural local self-government, and the other one is urban self-government. Rural self-government is done in the villages. It is ruled by the Panchayat Raj system. That is also a three-tier system, my dear friends. Gram Panchayat at the village level, then Panchayat Samitis at the block level, and Jilla Parishad at the district level. So we also have a three-tier level at the local self-governments in the rural areas. Whereas in the urban self-government, my dear friends, it comprises of institutions which manage local administration of cities and towns like municipal corporations, municipalities, town area committees, cantonment boards and port trust, improvement trust, and notified areas communities. So this way, in the urban areas, we are going to manage the local administration. In Let us discuss about rural local self-government, nothing but the Panchayat Raj institution. After India has got its independence, it has launched the community development programs in the year 1952 in order to accelerate the rural development. In the year 1957, a committee was set up under the leadership of Balwant Rai Committee Mehta in order to review the community development projects at that time and national extension services and assess the achievement in utilizing the local initiative in bringing about social development. So Balwant Rai Mehta committee suggested that there should be an adequate representation of women in these bodies for ensuring their political participation in the democratic process, because 50% of the Indian population are women and their grievances are not addressed in the issue. For that reason, the committee has recommended that there must be adequate representation of women in this democratic process. The committee wanted rural women to be the beneficiaries and also contribute for development, because after the household activities, my dear friends, most of the women, they may be idle or else they may be engaged in some or the other activities. So they said that these women should be the beneficiaries and also contribute for the development, and felt that they should be assisted to find ways to increase their incomes. So our duty is to enhance the income, for which we need to find out suitable plans or design suitable plans wherein people can improve that. And they also said that our duty is to ensure welfare programs like appointment of women as social extension officer, gram sevaks, and also recommended the cooperation of women members to the Panchayat Raj institutions. It also recommended that beside the 20 members of the Panchayat Samiti, there should be two women who are interested to work among women and children and co-opted members as co-opted members. A similar provision was also suggested in regard with village panchayats also, extra two members who are willing to work with the women and children, because most of the welfare schemes has to reach to the grassroots, and most of the women, they also have certain issues, and because of lack of awareness, ignorance, or because of conventionalism, they may not wish to approach the required institutions so that they can get benefit out of it. So they thought that we need to have women who can go to the people and who can talk to them so that they can share the information, they can motivate the people to utilize the opportunities which are being generated by the respective institutions. Now let us discuss about the structure and composition of this three-tier Panchayat Raj system. The Balwant Rai Mehta committee has recommended for a three-tier system of Panchayat Raj system with Jilla Parishad at the district level, Panchayat Samitis at the block level, and Panchayat system at the Gram Panchayat at the village level. The committee suggested a three-tier system as uniformity is followed in the states and union territories. He also said that the same system should be followed across the country so that we'll find uniformity. Okay. Then at that time, 16 states and union territories have three tier at the district level and intermediate levels. Five states and union territories have two tier, and 8 other states have a one tier system, while 3 states have one union territory and one union territory have no Panchayat Raj institution at all. When we talk about this three-tier level system, the states which are implementing this are Bihar, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh, Karnataka. We also have Andhra Pradesh. At that time, it was United Andhra Pradesh. Now we have Andhra Pradesh as well as Telangana. These are the states which are implementing this three-tier system. Now there are 4 states which are following two-tier system. They are Assam, Haryana, Orissa, and Manipur. And the states which are implementing only one tier system are Jammu and Kashmir, Goa, Daman Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Sikkim, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Pondicherry, Kerala, Tripura, and Delhi. So these are the states where they are going to implement three-tier, two-tier, and one-tier. Now let us see. There are certain states where they are going to have absence of panchayat bodies. Lakshadweep is an union territory, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Nagaland, and the hilly areas of Manipur, where district councils operate, or the hilly areas of the district of Darjeeling, where the Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council operates, the traditional village councils, which are performed as local governments. There are variations in the names of these bodies. The Panchayat Samiti, the middle institution at the block level, which plans and executes schemes of development. Panchayat Samitis are going to plan and execute the same schemes of development. It is also known by different names. In Gujarat, it is known as Taluk Panchayat. In Karnataka, it is known as Taluk Development Board. We also call it as Janpad Panchayat in Madhya Pradesh, Panchayat Union in Tamil Nadu, Kshetra Samiti in UP, Anchal Samiti in Arunachal Pradesh, and Mandal Praja Parishad in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Jilla Parishad, the top tier or at the district level, is also known by its different names. In Assam, it is known as Mokuma Parishad. In Tripura and Tamil Nadu, it is known as District Development Councils. In AP, it is known as Jilla Praja Parishad. So in different areas, in different states, as per the names are different, the names are not the same, my dear friends. There are also variations in the levels of tier also. In AP, the tiers are at the village level, mandal level, and the district level. Whereas if you see in Karnataka, it is at the mandal, taluk, and district level. The mandal tier in Andhra Pradesh is at the middle level, and in Karnataka it is at the bottom level, my dear friends. So we can also find the variations in terms of these three tiers. Though there are variations, my dear friends, we can also see the emerging patterns which can be classified into two broad categories. The first one is the Rajasthan model on the pattern of B.R. Mehta committee with a strong Panchayat Samiti and an advisory coordinating Jilla Parishad. And the second one is the Maharashtra pattern, the model which is based on the recommendations of Nayak committee with a strong Jilla Parishad and Panchayat Samiti acting as an executive agency. Now let us discuss about the composition of Panchayat Raj structure. The first one is village panchayats. We call it as the lower level bodies. The members of the village panchayat are directly elected by the members of the community. The seats are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Because we said that the 73rd and 74th amendment of the Indian Constitution has provided for reservation for the scheduled caste, all these things, and also for women, my dear friends, which allowed the women participation at that time. So here we are going to have reservation for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. In West Bengal, the state government exercises the power of the power of nominating scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. In all the other states and union territories, except in Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tripura, UP, and Andhra Pradesh, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the Sarpanch or chairman is elected by direct elections. So in most of the states, in most of the local bodies, the representatives, the Sarpanch or the chairman is directly elected by the people, my dear friends. In AP, in Andhra Pradesh, the chairman's position is reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and based on population criteria, and presiding officer's position of Gram Panchayat are reserved for women. Let us discuss about Panchayat Samitis at the middle level bodies. The Sarpanchas or the chairmen of the village Panchayat becomes the members of Panchayat Samitis along with the members of Legislative Assembly, Legislative Councils, if the state also has a council too, and the members of parliament. So in the Panchayat Samiti, all the Sarpanches or the chairmen along with the MLAs and along with the MPs, they are going to be the members of these Panchayat Samitis. The seats are reserved for the scheduled castes as well as scheduled tribes on the basis of population criteria in the states. In Gujarat, in Maharashtra and Karnataka, seats are reserved on population basis, and in AP, Bihar, Orissa, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, it is on the basis of the acts, my dear friends. It is based on the act. The elected MPs, member of parliament, and the members of legislative assembly of the areas are also going to be the members of this Panchayat Samiti. And in all the states except AP, reservation for seats for women is guaranteed at that time. Now let us see about the structure of Jilla Parishad, district level bodies. The presiding officer of the Panchayat Samitis becomes the member of the Parishad, Jilla Parishad. Members of the Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council and Parliament of all the state except Maharashtra are ex officio members of this body. In Gujarat and Maharashtra, seats are reserved for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes on the basis of the population. And in other states like AP, Assam, Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, UP and West Bengal, the Panchayat Act has specified the number of seats to be allocated for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. In all the states except Nagaland and Punjab, we have reserved a certain percentage of seats for the women population. In all the states except Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, and Nagaland, the chairmen of these bodies are indirectly elected. Since 1987, the chairman in AP, Jilla Parishad, is elected by direct elections. In Arunachal Pradesh, the chairman is nominated, and in Tamil Nadu and Nagaland, the collector becomes the chairman of this Jilla Parishads. Now let us see the recommendations of various committees on this. In the year 1971, the Government of India has constituted a committee to study the status of women in India. The committee has submitted a report by naming it as Towards Equality in the year 1974. So it took almost 3 years in order to do the research, and they have drafted the name and submitted the report in the name of Towards Equality. After reviewing women's role and status in the political arena since independence, all the indicators of participation, attitude, and impact came up with same results. The revolution in social and political status of women, for which constitutional equality was to be their only instrument, still remains a very distinct objective. The Constitution has said that there must be equal participation, and each and every section of people need to have equality in terms of all the arena, my dear friends. But in reality, it has not been fulfilled. That was the statement provided by various committees. Large masses of women constitute a lack spokesperson that understand the special problems and are committed to their removal. So we do not have people who can understand the problems of women, and we also lack people who are committed to remove this or address the issues, my dear friends. All the committees have recommended that the women should be represented by reservation. If there is reservation, then the people will come into the local bodies and they will represent themselves, they will represent their issues. So obviously there will be debate in public. So there are chances that we can also bring the changes in the society. We can design the policies, we can take certain steps in order to address these issues. So we require people's participation, nothing but women's participation. That can happen only through reservation, because India is a patriarchal system with a lot of conservatism. So obviously women may not take part in politics. So for that reason, they have brought reservation system. The second one, they also recommended to establish statutory women's panchayats at the village level with autonomy, and ensure that they are going to have their own management and administration for women and children. The Ashok Mehta Committee in the year 1978 also recommended reservation of seats for women in panchayat and their cooperation in case they do not go through elections. A number of states since then provided for reservation of women in panchayats. The National Perspective Plan for Women in the year 1998 to 2000 also has recommended for reservation of women in panchayat bodies. Now let us discuss about the recommendations in detail. The government should efficiently secure participation of women in decision-making process, both at the national, state, and local level. Okay, decision-making process at the national, state, and local bodies. And there must also be training courses for women so that they will have information or awareness based on which they can properly communicate their issues to the government, so that they can design the policies or they can be involved in the decision making process. That is the first recommendation. So we also require training courses. The second one is 50% of all grassroots functionaries must be meant for women, so that they are going to facilitate in implementation, relaxation of minimum educational qualification, if needed, which can be supplemented by short training courses for women. Because for certain courses, my dear friends, we also have educational qualification, minimum educational qualification, because most of the women are not coming to the schools, or they're not going for the higher education. That means they cannot be presented in all the domains. For that reason, the committees also recommended that if required, we have to lower the educational qualifications for the women so that they can work in the grassroots functionaries. And after being elected or after being appointed for the local body functionaries, at the time they require a proper training so that they can function effectively. The third recommendation was reservation should be fixed at 30% in bodies such as Jilla Parishad level, local municipality bodies for women, where possible, a higher representation of Dalits, tribal women, or women belonging to weaker section should be encouraged or ensured. So we require 30% of reservation, but our duty is to also encourage SCs, STs, and weaker section of women from weaker section, so that they can advocate about their issues. Then the committees also recommended that a more effective step should be would be to declare a certain percentage of constituencies in the lower tier of Panchayat Raj as exclusively for women constituencies, and all executive positions in a certain number of territorial jurisdiction must be reserved for women candidates. And the next recommendation is all women members of panchayats and other executive bodies must be trained and empowered to exercise their authority. Both men and women members should be sensitized about women's issues. A committee should be formed to look into the training needs of women panchayat members, and in order to help in designing modules for making them understand. So these are the recommendations which are provided by various committees being appointed by the government, and especially by the National Perspective Plan for Women during 1998 to 2000, my dear friends. Now let us see the constitutional amendments. In order to bring about structural and functional change, the panchayat in the panchayat system, the government of India has brought about constitutional amendments. The first one is Constitutional 64th Amendment Bill in the year 1969. This bill was introduced by the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi on 15th in the year 1989. The bill proposed to make it obligatory to all the states to establish the three-tier system at the village level, block level, and at the district level, and fill all the seats which are um, fill all the seats through direct elections. The members of the House of the People and the Legislative Assembly and the persons of Panchayat Raj at the lower level shall be provided with voting rights with a fixed term of 5 years. The Constitution Amendment Bill proposed 30% of the seats to be reserved for the people who belong to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities, and 50% of the total number of seats in the Panchayat Raj should be reserved to women. However, 30% includes the number of seats reserved for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes women. The number of seats which are reserved for the women will be allotted by rotation to different constituencies in the panchayat. The state are left with the option of providing the reservation of the chairperson of the SCs, STs, and women. But it was defeated in the upper house. Now, we also have Constitutional 73rd Amendment Bill in the year 1993. This Amendment Act makes the provision for not less than one-third of the seats to be reserved for women, including both scheduled caste and scheduled women. These may be allotted by rotation to different constituencies of your panchayat. The proportion of the total population of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe to the population of the area seats will be reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. There would be reservation for women in these seats which are allocated to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Not less than one third of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes seats may be reserved for women. So this Amendment Act mandates a uniform system of Panchayat Raj across the country, except specified tribal and hilly areas, and for a fixed tenure of 5 years. The amendment provided reservation of seats for the SCs and STs in proportion to the population and not less than 1 by third of elected seats for women and reservation of 1 by third of posts of chairperson at each level for women. There would be a rotated among different panchayats at each level. These are the two amendments which have been taken up by the parliament to ensure that there are structural and functional changes. Now let us discuss about the women in Panchayat Raj bodies. Andhra Pradesh was the second state to introduce Panchayat Raj system in India in the year 1959 with a three-tier level. The Jilla Parishad at the district level, Panchayat Samitis at the block level, and village panchayats or gram panchayats at the village level. In the year 1986, it implemented the Mandal system and the middle tier was known as Mandal Praja Parishad. The AP Gram Panchayat Act of 1964 has provided for reservation of 2 seats for women if the total strength of the Gram Panchayat is 9 or less, 3 seats if the strength is between 10 to 15, and 4 seats if the strength of the Gram Panchayat is more than 15, my dear friends. In the middle level bodies, women representation is governed by the AP Panchayat Samiti and Jilla Parishad Act, which provided for co-option of two women for each Samiti, in addition to the possibility of women members finding membership through direct election process. An amendment of the Act in 1963 stated that there should be a standing committee of 7 members called Committee for Women Welfare, in which a majority should be women, and a standing committee for education with at least 1 woman representative. Women representation at the mandal level and district level is governed by AP Mandal Praja Parishads, Jilla Parishads, and Jilla Pranalika Abhiruddhi Samkshema Mandal Act 1986. It has reserved a minimum of 2 and maximum of 4 seats per women in Gram Panchayats and 9% of the total number of office of chair of Jilla Parishad and presidents of Mandala Praja Parishads for women. Let us see about women's participation in Bihar state. The Bihar legislature has passed the Panchayat Raj Bill in August 1993, providing for reservation for women as specified in the 73rd Amendment Act. If we look at Himachal Pradesh, in the year 1992, they have introduced reservation for women. The percentage of reservation may vary in different constituencies as it was fixed as per the total number of members on the panchayat. For a panchayat that had 5 members, 1 seat was reserved for the women, 2 seats if the members are 7, 3 seats if was reserved for women if there are more than 7 members. It has latter 2 instances of women will be, of which 2 women will be belong to SC community. If we see in the state of Karnataka, my dear friends, the Karnataka Government Act has made the provision for at least 2 seats which are reserved for women in the village panchayat. The government introduced the Karnataka Jilla Parishad, Taluka Panchayat Samitis, Mandal Panchayats, and Nyaya Panchayat Act of 1983, which initiated that 25% of the total number of seats should be reserved for women who belong to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. The act also provided for representation of one woman, at least in social justice committees at all the levels, my dear friends. And if we see, it also introduced the 73rd Amendment of the legislation in 1993, which provides for direct elections to all the seats of panchayat at all levels, my dear friends, with a fixed tenure of 5 years, along with 30% of reservation for women. If we see in Haryana, it has made for the co-option of at least one woman member at the Gram Panchayat and two members at the Panchayat Samitis and two women at the Jilla Parishad. And we see in Madhya Pradesh, my dear friends, representation of two women in the village bodies and block bodies and one at the district level was provided for them. In of around 1900 Madhya Pradesh Panchayat Raj provided for 20% of seats reserved for women in the Gram Sabhas and Jilla Parishad, with one seat given to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Likewise, in each and every state, my dear friends, we can see that they have provided for reservation of women both at the district level, mandal level, and at the village level. Now, let us see the 73rd Amendment Act, the Constitutional 73rd Amendment Act of 1992. The issue of reservation of seats which are meant for women was the main discussion in the local bodies and legislature, which has been raised from the time of independence. In the first round table conference, which was held in the year 1930, two Indian women representatives who were selected by the then British government as official representatives supported by the Simon Commission recommended for reservation of 2.5% of seats for women. These women were against the reservation of seats on communal lines, but women's organizations which attended the Karachi session of the Congress in the year 1931 under the leadership of Sarojini Naidu were against reservation for women. They wanted women to enter the legislation without any reservation and so on. Of the two women official representatives, one was reserved for women on communal lines, and Mrs. Radhabai argued for for reservation of seats for Indian women. Mahatma Gandhi, who was a strong supporter of women political participation, even too was against the reservation for women in legislative and decision-making bodies. He demanded total equality for women. That means each and every woman can contest anywhere in any political competition from the national level to that of the local bodies. That was the main intention of Mahatma Gandhi ji. At the time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and many other Congress leaders also advocated the statement of equality of women, total equality of women, the statement taken up by Gandhi ji. It is under the influence of Rajiv Gandhi that the stand on no reservation for women by the government was changed. Before the 73rd Amendment Bill, efforts were made to bring women into Panchayat Raj structure through co-option. Two women could be co-opted as the members of Panchayat if none had been elected. If one has been elected, only one woman would have got the option to be co-opted, my dear friends. Similarly, two women can be co-opted in the Panchayat Samitis as members and at the Jilla Parishad There is a co-option of 2 women also as ex-officio members. The strength of the Panchayat Raj institutions and to provide 33% of reservation for women um, has been passed in the 73rd uh, uh, Amendment Act of 1992 in the Constitution. The Act came into force in April 1993. Part 9, called the Panchayats, was included in the Constitution of India. This Act provided for a fixed tenure of 5 years to Panchayat Raj institutions. It also made a provision for reservation of 33.3% of seats which are meant for women. While passing this Act, nearly 6.7 lakh were expected to be elected. Women were expected to be elected at the Panchayat Raj institutions across the country, my dear friends. So it was expected that because of this act, 6.7 lakh women would be elected as representatives at the local bodies across the country. So the constitutional amendment also provided for the formation of the first commission every 5 years and established the State Election Commission. 29 areas of development were identified for preparing plans and implementation of schemes in order to bring about economic development, social justice. A new 11th schedule was added to the Indian Constitution. Now let us discuss what has been amended. Section 15, Clause 2 states that not less than 1/3 of the total number of seats reserved for SCs, STs, and backward classes shall be reserved for women of these categories. Section 15, Clause 3 further stipulates that not less than 1/3 of the total number of seats to be filled by direct elections in every panchayat institution shall be reserved for women. And Section 16 provides for reservation for the offices of the Sarpanch, Pradhans, and Pramukhs and stipulated not less than that of 1/3 of the total number of such offices should be reserved for women. So these are the 3 amendments which has been brought later on. Now let us discuss about urban local self-government. Urban local self-government includes municipal corporation, municipalities, cantonment areas, improvement trust, notified areas, port trust, and so on. Um, Urban local government is not hierarchical, whereas if we see at the village level, at the grassroots level or village level, we have village panchayats, then block level, then district level. We are going to have a clear-cut hierarchy, whereas looking at the urban local self-government, there is no hierarchy at all, my dear friends. Now, let us discuss about the structure and composition of municipal corporations. Municipal corporations are set up in big towns and cities where the population is more than a lakh. The administration of city under municipal corporation is entrusted by the General Council, Standing Committee of the Council, and the Commissioner of the Executive or the Executive Officer. The Mayor is the chairman of the corporation. The General Council consists of those members who are directly elected by the people on the basis of adult franchise by secret ballot, and some persons in the locality are elected by those elected representatives of the people. Some seats are reserved for women as well as for scheduled caste as well as for scheduled tribe. If we see the structure of municipal corporation, we are going to have 2 wings. One is political wing and the other one is administrative wing. Under municipal corporation, we are going to have 2 wings, my dear friends. One is the political wing and the other one is administrative wing. The general council of the municipal corporation is the legislative body. It makes the policies for the administration of the corporation. The commissioner is the chief executive, is appointed by the state government, is appointed by the state government and is responsible for the implementation of policies of the government. The standing committees or bodies of the General Council which perform the various functions like public works, the General Council, public works, health, taxation, finance, education, transportation, electricity, water supply, and sewage, and so on. The mayor, the first region of the city, is the head of the municipal corporation and is elected by indirect elections by the councillors. So this comes under political wing, my dear friends. So we are going to have standing committee, which are also going to take up all these works along with the public work, public health, public works maintenance, and so on. Municipalities or municipal committees are formed in cities which are either neither very large, neither very small. For about 20,000 municipalities are covered by the Municipal Act of the state and comprise a general body known as Municipal Council. The people of the city, known as the members of this body as councillors, ward councillors, and so on. These people are elected by the people directly. And even in these councillors, we also have this 1/3 of seats which are reserved for women, for scheduled caste, and scheduled tribes, my dear friends. Municipal committees elect the president or chairman who controls the administrative and financial matters, my dear friends. Now let us see the reservation for women in urban local bodies. After independence, there were a number of provisions which were taken up to bring reservation of seats for women in and other disadvantaged groups. Provisions were made for making nominations to ensure that there is an adequate representation of women in the local bodies. In the year 1971, the government of India has appointed the Committee on the Status of Women in India to evaluate the changes that has been taken place since independence or since the result of constitution, legal and administrative measures adopted since independence. And the committees have um, recommended for reservation in all the bodies, like as already discussed in the year there was a committee which was appointed during 1971, and the committee has submitted a report towards equality report in the year 1974, which has also recommended for recommendation. Already we have discussed that. So efforts were made to reserve seats for women in urban local bodies in different states. In the Municipalities Act 1965, there was no provision for reservation seats for women. But in the year 1981, they have taken provisions to provide 5% of seats, 5% of seats for women in these urban bodies. Later on, it has been increased to 9%. In the year 1991, the Karnataka government has passed a bill to provide 25% of the seats for women in the local bodies, that too in the urban areas. Maharashtra in the year 1990 has passed on a bill to provide 30% or 1/3 of seats to be reserved for women. Similarly, 30% of the seats are reserved for women in all the urban local bodies, my dear friends. Now, let us see the constitutional amendment of 1992, especially for the urban centers. The 74th Constitution Amendment Act of 1992 has made the provision of reservation of 1/3 of seats for all the positions as mayors, chairperson to women. And thus it has widened the base for the representation of women both at the urban as well as at the rural local self-government, my dear friends. All India Institute of Local Self-Government newsletter in the year 1998 has talked about municipal elections which held in all the major states. Only in Bihar and Puducherry or Pondicherry, elections were not held. 60,000 were elected in the urban. 60,000 women were elected in the urban urban uh, political arena. One by third of them being women, out of which 87 municipal corporations for which information was available were mayor. The municipal corporations were headed by women corporators, sorry, mayors. Now let us see about the role of women in rural and urban local self-government. The critical areas where women can play an important role are eradication of poverty, removal of inadequacies and inequalities in education, training and ensuring access to primary health care, protecting women against violence, discrimination, access to economic reservations, economic resources, and so on. At the same time, we also require an increased share of women in political power, decision making structures, protecting the rights of children, and so on. Women in decision making bodies as councillors, mayors, chairperson, sarpanchas can play a vital role in the areas of education, health, violence, employment, political, as well as credit. How can we do it? Let us discuss about that. The first one is the first one is education. So they can go to the people like in the early days, like if a girl is or if a lady is educated, then the whole family will be educated because the lady can spend time in educating the children and the other people in the family. So our duty is to eradicate illiteracy, especially among women and girl child. They can ensure access to education and improve access to vocational and technical training for skill development among women. At the same time, we can also bring awareness among health issues, motivate them to use public health institutions, and also ensure that they have quality health care, my dear friends. And in terms of violence, they can also initiate measures for preventing violence against women, bring awareness programs on various laws and sections which can be used as a safeguarding the women. Likewise, the women can take up various roles in the field of education, health, violence, employment, politics, as well as credit. Now, let us discuss about some of the constraints in active participation of women, both at the local as well as the urban areas. According to Veena Majumdar, the participation of rural women is much lower than their work participation. The masses of rural women, who form the majority of women in the country, spend most of their time engaged only in the battle of survival. Their duty is to take care of their family accounts or family issues or household activities and so on. So they do not find much time. Further, they also said that they do not have sufficient time to take an active role in political participation. And along with that, because of low level of literacy, awareness on legal rights and responsibilities, ignorance, and the procedures, like women are lacking in the political arena. So expensive elections, threat of violence, and character assassination are also some of the things which are also going to refrain the people from taking part in the activities. Recently, when we have these parliamentary elections, the finance minister, she has said that I don't have sufficient money because elections have become a costly affair. I don't have money, so I'm not going to contest in these parliament elections. I'm talking about 2024 statement made by the finance ministry. Remember that. So sometimes elections have become very, very expensive, or there are threats of violence, like people may be punished or social boycotted or something like. And we can also see that if women are going to come into politics, people are also going to assassinate their character. So, because of the fear to face all these things, people may not come and take part in this. At the same time, traditional values, the joint family system or the patriarchal family system, the culture, the psychological conditions, and so on are also going to stop the people from taking part in the in the public life, my dear friends. Now, let us discuss some of the strategies which can be used to empower women in decision making process. The first one is create awareness among about their potential, what kind of role they can perform. Tell them that, or make them aware that they are also not they are also equal to that of men, my dear friends. They can also take up each and every task. So our first duty is to create awareness among the individuals. Second one, simply creating awareness doesn't make any sense. So we have to train them with whatever the skills which are required to uplift their conditions. So we require training programs to educate the women in all the arenas, including Panchayat Raj institutions, their role in the bodies, and so on. Then we also require Mahila Mandals, which can provide political training to bring out the hidden potential of women. So they can make the people, because nowadays most of the people have the fear. They may have information, they may have knowledge, but they do not have public speaking skills or how to present their issues. Like, so these Mahila Mandals can also train them in terms of this political training. Along with this, mandals should be developed in the regional languages. If you are going to develop in either Hindi as the national language or in English as the international language, then it will be very difficult for the people in the local bodies. So our duty is to convert this, or develop the mandals in the regional languages only. Create channels by which women can compete equally on par with the men, my dear friends. Educate women to develop self confidence. These are the things which we need to do. And along with that, our duty is also to sensitize both men and women on gender issues too, which will help them to understand the needs of women and play a pivotal role in addressing the issues, and play an important role in the implementation of development programs which are meant for women. Now let us discuss about government institutions. The Indian National Congress, Bharatiya Janata Party, the Communist Party of India, Marxist, Janata Dal, all these political parties in the state have provided for training to women elected leaders. The government has government institutions have the training for people to perform the roles and dispense their responsibilities towards self government. So we have State Institute of Panchayat, we have state institutes for rural development, we also have extension training centers, and we also have National Institute of Rural Development at Rajendra Nagar, Hyderabad. So these are the four institutes, government institutions, which are going to provide training for the elected representatives for both male and female, so that they can perform their roles effectively, my dear friends. And once the people are elected, they're also going to have orientation program for the newly elected women members at the panchayat system. Now let's discuss about the institutions under public sector. Administrative Training Institute at Mysore, Karnataka. We also have All India Institute of Local Self-Government located at Mumbai. Indira Gandhi Panchayat Raj and Rural Development Institution at Jaipur. Kerala Institute of Local Administration at Tessur. Indian Institute of Public Administration at New Delhi. Then we have Indian Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development. Then we have Indian Institute of Rural Development, Guwahati, State Institute of Panchayats at Kalyani, West Bengal, and so on. So the both at the regional level, at the national level, my dear friends, we are going to have n number of institutions with the main intention of training the people so that they can work and work effectively. Their main intention is to uh, design women development programs so that they can empower women and communicate the information, train them, educate them so that they can effectively work. At the same time, they can also improve their social as well as economical status, and they can actively take part in each and every arena of life, my dear friends. So this is about the participation of women in the local self-government as well as in the urban self-government, my dear friends. If you have any doubts, you are free to ask, my dear friends. If you have any doubts, you are free to ask. Or else, we'll conclude here, my dear friends. So, friends, have a nice day. Again, we'll catch up tomorrow at the same time.